Well, October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We're going to have a conversation coming up about that. But did you know that 1 in 4 women experiences domestic violence at some point, and 99% of those victims will also suffer financial abuse?
Our first guest this morning is a financial industry executive and women's financial literacy advocate who wants women to know they aren't trapped and they do have options.
Here to lead this very important conversation is Kim Scouler. And we welcome her to Virginia this morning. Kim, good to see you. Financial abuse. Obviously, that's a thing, but you know, hadn't really thought about it like that.
Well, when you think about what happens in an abusive situation, the abuser's goal is to take complete control over their victim. And one of the easiest ways to do that is with finances. Abusers take complete control over the financial situation, so victims report that they primarily stay or go back to abusive situations because they're completely financially dependent on their abuser, and if they have children, it makes it all the worse.
Kim, one of the things that immediately comes to mind is when you're in this situation of financial abuse, typically money's being withheld, you're not part of that. I mean, one of your first suggestions is being involved with the finances. So let's say there are probably circumstances where maybe you have the opportunity to do that, but a lot of times there are not. Why is it so important to try to gain that access?
You know, even in healthy relationships, it's very important for both partners in a couple to understand what's happening with the couple's finances, to make sure that their goals are being addressed, to know how the money is being set aside, saved, spent, invested, and also to know where the money is. If one of the partners were to pass away or to become ill, the other partner needs to know what's happening with the finances. So I encourage, as a financial professional and financial professionals I work with, to sit down with both partners in a couple. Unfortunately, a lot of women, a lot of married women, just defer the decisions to their spouses. And that's fine if you want your spouse to be the primary decision maker, but participate, be informed, ask questions, and make sure your goals are being addressed as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kim, what about for people who are listening to this saying, well, this is something that I need to be doing in my own life? What are some red flags or things that we should be looking out for?
Well, financial abuse usually takes 3 different forms. The first form is that financial control. And what's so insidious about it is it starts off very gradually and may even appear that your partner is doing, look, honey, let me handle the bills. Let me handle the finances. You just take care of yourself or the family. And it appears to be a very loving thing, a very caring thing for that person, that other partner to be doing. But over time, that partner ends up taking complete control over the finances. Maybe you get an allowance. You're required to report everything you spend. Maybe your decisions about money are criticized or belittled. Now, a second kind of financial abuse is sabotage. Sabotage in your employment or sabotage in your academic pursuits. A lot of women who are in the workplace, their abusers, try to convince them to stop working, maybe, make them miss work. Certainly, physical violence is involved in preventing them from getting to work. Maybe your abuser shows up at work or shows up at your school and starts harassing your coworkers, your colleagues, your bosses. So unfortunately, a lot of abuse victims end up being fired or let go from their positions because it's just too difficult for the employer to deal with such a situation. And there are laws in several states and more states today that prevent an employer from firing a victim just because they're a victim of domestic violence.
Wow.
Now, the third type of financial abuse we're seeing is economic exploitation. And this is the kind of abuse that lasts for years, even after survivors leave an abusive situation, because this is where an abuser ruins their credit, maybe has a lot of judgments or tax liens, runs their credit card bills up. All of these things that happen in the victim's name. And so the victim spends years trying to extricate themselves from that situation and trying to repair their credit score.
All right, Kim, I started out here by showing my ignorance to this, and I never thought of it like that, but now that you've talked about it, it's just another power dynamic, isn't it?
It truly is. And again, it may start off very innocently, and you think that, oh, this person really cares about me. But little by little, over time, you'll find yourself without any access to economic resources.
Kim, considering these points is a great first step. Folks watching today may relate to some of these scenarios that you've talked about. What's another, we're just about out of time, but another quick step to gain some financial literacy, learn how money works, and find a way to protect yourself?
Right. So what we counsel victims is to first learn how money works, participate in the decision making, ask questions. There are a lot of resources online and local financial professionals who can help. Second, we encourage people to talk about the issue. So many women are embarrassed or ashamed, but talk about the issue so you can get access to what your local resources are. And then finally, put your financial safety plan in place, because when you're getting ready to leave an abusive situation, that's when you're most at risk. So you need to do a lot of planning ahead of time. That's stashing cash away, creating a separate bank account that your abuser is not aware of, getting a credit card that your abuser is not aware of, have statements sent to an address of a friend or a colleague. All of these things that can help you. But, you know, most importantly, stay safe.
Kim, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for opening our eyes and our minds.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been great talking with you.
For more information on this conversation and the services that Kim Scouler provides at WealthWave, just visit our website later today, virginiathismorning.com.
And stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
There once was a